The Star Adventurer lets you take long exposure astrophotos by countering the rotation of the Earth. However, to work well, the rotation axis of the Star Adventurer must point as close as possible to the south celestial pole. A good planetarium app will give you a reasonable indication of where the south celestial pole is even before the sun sets. So this can help you pick a setup location where the pole is not hidden behind a tree. Step 1 is to level the tripod using the bubble level. Step 2 is to attach the equatorial wedge using the screw under the tripod base. Undo as far as possible both left and right adjustment screws at the base of the wedge. This lets the wedge rotate a little to the left and right. You will need this range of movement later to hunt for the required alignment stars. Try and make sure the wedge can be rotated a little to the left and right of your best guess as to where the south celestial pole is located. This will make it easier for you to find the alignment stars through the polar telescope. Step 3 is to set the tilt angle of the wedge to equal your latitude angle. You can loosen the lock and adjust the tilt screw to your latitude, but the scale on the Adventurer is rather coarse and inaccurate. It is more accurate to use a tilt indicator app on your phone and use that to set the tilt angle equal to your latitude. Step 4. Attach the Star Adventurer body with the mounting platform aimed up towards the sky. Tighten the locking screw. Also check the batteries are installed by removing the battery cover. Add batteries if necessary and replace the cover. The sky needs to be reasonably dark to be able to see the 4 alignment stars through the polar telescope. While you're waiting for the sky to get dark, open your planetarium app and zoom in on the south celestial pole for your current date and time. Familiarise yourself with the 4-star group containing the star Sigma Octans in the constellation Octans. Note its distinctive flat bottom bowl shape. These are the stars you will need to find using the Star Adventurer's polar telescope. Take careful note of the orientation of the flat bottom bowl shape. In this example, the bottom of the bowl is pointing down and to the right, but this orientation will be reversed and point up to the left when viewed through the polar scope, but we'll get to that in a minute. Step 5. Remove the front and rear polar telescope covers. If the sky is still light, take a look through the polar telescope and you will see a crosshair and 4 little circles joined by lines in the shape of the flat bottom bowl. There is also a circle with lots of angle markings on it, but ignore this as we don't need it for a southern hemisphere alignment. Loosen the black clutch ring on the front of the Star Adventurer body and you can then rotate the mounting platform. If you look through the polar telescope again and rotate the mounting platform, you will see the orientation of the flat bottom bowl in the reticle change. Step 6. When the sky is dark, insert a button battery into the polar telescope illuminator and turn it on. Then clip the illuminator into the front of the polar scope. Adjust the brightness of the illuminator down to just sufficient to be able to see the flat bottom bowl in the reticle. Step 7. Look through the polar telescope and you will see the reticle lines and perhaps some stars. Slowly rotate the entire Star Adventurer unit left and right on the tripod to see if the 4 stars of the flat bottom bowl come into view. If they don't, you have either set the wedge tilt at some angle other than your latitude, or in step 2 you made an incorrect initial guess as to where the south pole is actually located. If you can't find the 4 stars of the flat bottom bowl, you will need to use your planetarium app to help you get the Star Adventurer aimed in the right vicinity. This can be fiddly. If the 4 stars of the flat bottom bowl do come into view through the scope, you need to get each of the 4 stars into its respective circle in the reticle. With the mounting platform clutch loosened, you can slowly rotate the platform so the 4-star reticle lines and circles are in the same orientation as the actual 4 stars. Then rotate the unit very gently left and right on the tripod and adjust the latitude tilt screw up or down to get the 4 stars in the 4 circles. When you get very close, you need to then gently tighten the 2 screws at the base of the wedge to fine-tune the centering of the stars and finally lock the unit in place. When the 4 stars are in the 4 circles, the crosshairs of the reticle mark the location of the south celestial pole. You now have the Star Adventurer polar aligned. Now attach the mounting assembly and counterweight. Attach a strong ball head and then your camera. So as not to overload the little motor in the Star Adventurer, you need to have the weight of your camera balanced by the counterweight. Loosen the mounting platform clutch on the front of the Star Adventurer and adjust the position of the counterweight to achieve balance with your camera. Rotate the mounting assembly to about 45 degrees as a good starting position and then tighten the clutch. You are now ready to take some astrophotos. To shoot stars, make sure the rotation direction switch is set to south and turn the mode dial to the star icon. The Star Adventurer is now tracking. Use the ball head to aim your camera at the desired target. Initially use wide-angle lenses while learning how to take astrophotos, as they are more forgiving, particularly of polar alignment errors. Attaching an intervalometer to your camera is also a great way to avoid vibration when tripping the camera shutter. What exposure length, lens aperture, or ISO to use is all material for another video. When you're finished for the night, make sure to turn the mode dial back to off or take some batteries out of the unit before packing it away. Good luck and share your photos with Brisbane Astronomical Society.